Today we have a fun one. We're going to use optimal to build the worst possible financial plan. We're going to follow suboptimal deposit and withdrawal strategies. And at the end of the video, we're going to compare it against an optimized financial plan. Now, the goal of this video is just to show you that if you were following the wrong plan, just how big of an impact it could have on your future. Even though you may not have run out of money, even though it was a successful plan, how much money are you leaving on the table? So let's meet the example couple we're going to use in this video. Let's just look at employment. We know spouse one's working, making $95,000, retiring at age 60. So they're going to be working for roughly 6 more years. Now, spouse two, very similar, making roughly $102,000. They're going to also be working for the next 6 years, retiring at 59 or in 2031. Now, on investments, let's look at their RSP specifically. We're going to be converting the RSP at age 71. And the question being, the older spouse, do you want to use your younger spouse's age for the RIF minimums? We're going to select no. Again, we're trying to make the suboptimal plan. Now, jumping to the strategy page, we're going to be running a traditional plan. Now, before we look through that, let's just look at their current net worth. So they're working for another 6 years. Their current net worth is roughly $2 million. So we can see they've got real estate valued at $850,000, and they have their liquid investment savings. Now, onto the traditional plan, we're going to manipulate the order. So we're going to be putting the deposit of TFSAs last. We're going to be putting non-registered first, then RSP, and then TFSA. But of course, because non-registered doesn't have a cap, all deposits are just going to go into the non-registered. They're not actually going to go to the RSP and TFSA. Withdrawals. We're going to be withdrawing from our TFSA first, then we're going to move on to non-registered, and finally, we're going to draw down from the RSP and RIF. So let's go ahead and build our suboptimal plan. The plan's now complete, so it was a success, but now we're going to make it even more suboptimal. So what we're going to do is use the CPP and OAS optimizer, and typically we use this to find the optimal age to take government benefits, showing best case scenario. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to run the analysis and pick the worst case scenario of when to start taking CPP and old age security in relation to how high our after-tax estate could get to. All right, so we can see the results here, of course, showing best case scenario at the top. We can see what our current age was built around, and then of course it's found an optimal age showing us best case scenario at the top. So let's look at worst case scenario. So we can now see starting at age 60, 65, just for this couple at least, gives us the lowest after-tax estate. In fact, we can just do a quick comparison. Best case to worst case is a $142,000 difference. So let's now launch into the plan, and we'll build our plan around the suboptimal CPP and OAS ages to get a full picture of what the plan now looks like. So we can see on the plan summary page, it's a pretty healthy plan. They're leaving behind roughly $2.4 million. They were able to achieve their desired after-tax income each and every year of the plan, and they can see exactly what their plan looks like and what their estate taxes are. So we successfully created our suboptimal plan. We're doing poor deposit and withdrawal strategies. We're delaying RSP, RIF conversion ages, and we found the worst case to start taking government benefits. Now let's create an optimized plan. So the first thing we'll do is we'll select edit inputs and we'll duplicate. So we're going to create a new plan. Let's just rename this one optimal planning, and we'll go ahead and duplicate. Now the only inputs we're going to change between the plans are the RSP to RIF conversion ages, as we strategically delayed it to 71. Now we're going to change it to 65. And the reason is that's the earliest you can take advantage of RIF splitting with your partner. So that just helps reduce your taxable income in any given year, and you can start doing that as early as age 65. The other change we're going to make is we're going to select yes to using our spouse's age for RIF minimums. In Canada, you can elect to use your younger spouse's age when calculating your RIF minimum. Now, Optimal, of course, has this capability, so we're going to select yes and select save. Now, back on the strategy page, we're going to select the maximize after-tax estate strategy, and we'll go ahead and optimize. So our maximize after-tax estate strategy is completed. We can already see that it's reaching a higher after-tax estate, but we can still further optimize it using CPP and OAS optimizer. So again, insights, CPP and OAS. We'll go ahead and run the analysis to ensure we're following and using the optimal CPP and old age security start ages to ensure our after-tax estate is its highest possible value. Just like that, it's complete. So we can now see that taking CPP and old age security at these ages gives us the best case scenario and the highest possible after-tax estate. We can also see what the suboptimal age would have been as well. So with that, we can go ahead and launch and build our plan around the optimal CPP and old age security start ages, and now complete our optimized plan. So now that we have our optimized plan and we have our suboptimal worst case scenario plan, we can now use the compare plans feature just to really see them side by side and how big of an impact it had. So let's jump over to Insights, Compare Plans, and we'll select the two plans we want to compare. And let's start evaluating the results. So right away, we can see the difference in the after-tax estate. It's a difference of nearly $900,000 or 26% of the after-tax estate value. Now, I always like to scroll to the very bottom and select the lifetime spending cart, because this is just going to help validate and just show that we're spending the exact same amount of money in after-tax dollars for every single year of the plan. There is no difference in how much money we're spending. The difference is the deposit and withdrawal strategies. Now, not only was our after-tax estate significantly higher by following an optimized plan, our lifetime taxes were actually significantly lower as well, roughly $135,000 less in taxes over our lifetime by following the optimized plan. Now, in this example, we purposely built an extreme worst-case scenario plan, and yet it was still successful. It was still leaving an estate behind. It wasn't until we compared it against an optimized tax-efficient plan that we really saw the flaws in that strategy. Now, in both plans, they had the exact same amount of after-tax income every year of the plan, and yet one had a significantly higher after-tax estate, and it also paid lower lifetime taxes. So although you may have a financial plan that's confirmed that you can have the after-tax dollars you need every year, what is the long-term impacts of that strategy? Is it really following a tax-efficient plan built around your unique situation?